So let's say I have this airline skirt. Okay, so I have a friend or someone in the factory wants to cut this pattern. Okay, cut and sew. The factory wants to cut and sew this style. Okay, so you want to send this to the factory as email attachment. So the Gerber, and then they use Gerber program. Okay, so when you open email and try to attach this pattern, you can't do that, right? Because you have no direct access to that. Okay, so you need to convert this to a format. It's called zip file. Okay, so you convert this zip. Very simple steps. Convert to zip file, so that you can now attach to your email, or you can maybe save in the Google for shared Google Drive. That is often you do, or PLM program if you're using. Okay, some sort of a sharing area. If you can save, you can save that in cloud, or or by email attachment. Okay, so to convert the pattern to a zip file is you have two ways. Okay. First, if you have a model, you can zip file the model. Okay, so this you will highlight the model. Okay, so this is my airline skirt, right? So highlight, then you go to File, Export Zip. Okay, File, Export Zip. Okay, so when you do that, it asks you to name the file. So I would say it will automatically put the name of the model. Okay, so TED Airline A skirt. So I usually add the date like this. Today is not May. Today is what, May 7th, right? 7th May 2022. Adding the date is very crucial because when you communicate with the overseas factories, you are sending back and forth, different versions of the pattern often, right? So to add the date is very helpful because when you check the email attachment, oh, you have this airline card, few attachment, and you don't know which one is correct. So if you add the date, then you can tell the chronological order which one is latest or oldest. So I will recommend that you add the date, okay, and then you will save. When you click save, and a mask appears, okay. So this is where you want to pay attention to, okay. So make sure you check include components, okay. If you don't check here, it will only export model, not the pieces contained inside the model. So you want to make sure, check that. So that would export together with pattern pieces, okay. Model nodes are not really useful, and we don't use a measure chart. And include image, yes. Remember this little bit of box at the left top corner. You can actually upload image, right? Flat sketch, whatever. So I would check that if you have image added to the model. Okay. And then the rest is not really important. So you have, at least you check two of them. Okay. And then also you can attach a non-Accumark file, meaning you can add, let's say, Excel file, some kind of Excel charismast. You can do that. But then, why you have to do that? You can attach separately would be probably a better idea. So, but you can, but I don't think it's that much useful. Okay. So then you will click OK. Then it will convert. Okay, so it gives you a warning. That means, well, I don't think there's any, I don't know if anybody is still using version 7, but this is basically the warning. If someone using a version 7, your zip file cannot be opened by them. Okay, so just that's the warning. And you say, okay, complete. So I saved that in the model. This is right here, see? Now I can open email and you can attach. Okay, so that's the process. It's quite simple. And if you have a model, now if you have loose pieces, it doesn't need to be model. You just want to, send one piece, for example, just that, you can do that too, okay? Or you can do several of them, like you can select the pieces that you want to export, and you say File, Export Zip, okay? Same way that you can do that, okay? So you can export either model or loose pieces, okay? All right. So that's the export in a zip. Now, what happened? The receiver who receives that zip file, okay? The first, he or she has to download the zip file. It will be in a local folder, right? It will be just like this. You will see the folder, the download like this, okay? So then what you need to do, you do the reverse process. First, you select your folder where you wanted to save the zip file, okay, like that. And then you will go to File, this time Import Zip, okay, Import Zip, okay. Then you select the zip file they sent and click and open, and it will be populated in that the folder you chose, okay. So that's quite simple. So between Gerber users, really no problem, very easy. Just have a few extra steps you need to take. Okay, export, import. That's all you need to do. Okay, so that's between Gerber users. Okay, any questions? I think that's quite clear, right? Okay, so then let's move on to the second type of data conversion. Okay. Do you know any other pattern making software, or have you used any other pattern making software? No?
No, but I heard another one that the FIT used to offer is called PAT or something.
FIT here?
Yes,
Not that I
PA
know
PA something. Long time ago, PAD.
of. Pat, yes, that's a simpler version pattern making, yeah, but I'm not sure if we use here. Maybe before I joined FIT, I don't know.
Yes, because I remember I took the class in person and the teacher, she got sick. So, so that's why I remember that class very well.
Okay.
Long time ago.
I think it still exists. I think it's a simpler version of pattern making software. Um, but I myself haven't tried to use it. But I hear some people use that as an alternative to an expensive Java program.
Yes.
So yes, yeah, that's one of them. And then the Lectra. Lectra is the other major pattern making software, and Optitex and Tukatek. Tukatek is actually popular in West Coast, and Lectra is more like European French company, but now it's a you know American company, I guess. It's Java was bought by Lectra. Yes, so those are major. But then in this country, United States, Gerber is the dominant pattern making. Comes when it comes to pattern making program, Gerber is the one more popular. Okay, so I have some um, Lectra patterns. So I'm going to open the Lectra pattern, which I made quite a long time ago. Um, okay, so this one is the called Moderus, Lectra Moderus. So Lectra Moderus is unlike Gerber, same as Adobe or Microsoft. You don't need, you can just directly open. So when I double click, Modulus will come up. We still have the program. And so you can see um, the pattern pieces. I used to use this for 2 or 3 years. now I completely forgot. Isn't it something you learn, and then if you don't use it, you really forget? I just have no idea how I use this one. Seriously, that much you forget completely. So, so what I know is that the lecturer you save as like a file. Okay, so inside the black square, you see that a lot of pattern pieces. The one that highlighted are the active pattern pieces. Okay, so you can save like a draft or discarded pieces. You can keep that in the same file. Okay, so that's how it works. It's all everything is in the same one sheet of paper, so to speak, and you can just select the one that you want to actually use for cutting and sewing. So that the one that highlighted darker color is the one that active pattern pieces. Okay, and then this yellow and here, this is like a model. So this is the way controls that pattern pieces information and everything. So that more like a model in Gerber. Okay, so I see this like this one. Let me highlight this one here. That would be okay. So you see this pattern. It's a well, you can see seam allowance, and you can see sew line, you can see internal line, all that. So so how does it look? How can I export this? Okay, I'm sorry. How can I open this in Gerber program? Okay. Going to no. So these pattern pieces, how can I? So let's see how it looks like in the Gerber program. Okay. So I'm going to minimize this. So this is the pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to here, Accumark Explorer. And since I'm going to use local folder, okay? Okay. So I'm going to import the lecturer pattern to Gerber, okay? So when you, other than Gerber program, you need to use the something called what it's called, I forgot. Data conversion utility. Okay, data conversion utility. Okay, so where you find data conversion utility is under process tab. If you in Accumark Explorer, you click process tab, and all the way to the right you see data conversion. Okay, so utility. So you click this, then again this the window appears. Okay, so you will basically fill in the boxes and then convert. Okay, all right. So this is where you use data conversion most often. Okay, but when you very first thing when you open this Accumark data conversion utility, very first thing to do is here. Okay, I know it's very small, but you see the arrow, okay? Left arrow and right arrow. So when you move your cursor and then you see export from Accumark and import to Accumark, okay? So you need to know, are you exporting? Are you importing, okay? Right now, I'm trying to import non-Gerber pattern, okay? So I will select this import to Accumark, okay? Then once you've done that, you will one by one, check the box. So here, file type, okay? So I will select the drop-down arrow. Conveniently, there is already lecture design right there, okay? So you will select lecture design, okay? And where is the pattern? It's in the T drive, right? T drive and then FFS folder, okay? And then what is the file name? File name is rgjk1. Okay, so open. And I'm going to save the pattern in the C drive, data 90. Okay, so you would choose where you want to save. Okay, So now I'm ready to process. Okay, once you fill in, then you click this green button with the white arrow. Okay, it says process all, right? Okay, so I will click. Okay, so you see when you see error, then it's not successful. Okay, it was not successful. So then you need to find out what was wrong. So you click this plus buttons, and then you see unable to interpret curve record, blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, that's new. Record is valid Accucurve. All right, fine. So let me then change. Maybe it's folder. I'm going to change this to. Z drive. Let me try to do my folder. I think I have this already. Let me do it in a test. Open. Okay. So I will now do lecture, lecture, and process. Again, what is that? I'm not sure. Unable to interpret curve record. Let's see what happens. It's actually here. So that was warning. I'm not sure what is missing, but it was imported. You can see that in the same file name. Okay, so now I'm going to open this, see how it looks like. Open with pattern design, separate work area. All right. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so you can see pattern pieces are the same, and I think something is missing here. That might be the warning. Let me check that. Report all pieces. So I am missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I guess it's not skipping. So I think it's everything is there. When it's missing, the number is skipping. So number is not skipping. So I guess it's all there. Lining, marker, self, block yourself. Okay, so you see, you can convert, and then it's it keeps the data, right? Like a piece and the fabric types. So that conversion is relatively successful. And then also, if you compare the pattern pieces, like here, what's that here? Oh, it's an upside down. Okay, but if you compare to that, oh, what did I do? I think I lost it. Let's see. All right. I don't know what happened. I lost it. I can't recover the pieces, but you can see its conversion is very accurate. You don't see any like a corner turn into curve or something. Its shapes are all looks correct, and I think it was successful conversion. Okay. But when you do, what I would do is that when you after you anything you convert from non-Gerber program, I just do like this. I will verify. I just randomly select the line, and then like here or here, and I would just, compare. Okay, make sure that's the well. If you have a spec, you know what I'm saying. So if you have a spec, you can compare with the spec, and then make sure pattern has no distortions. Okay, so that is I will probably do like a front length. You check and then compare with the spec if you have, and make sure the pattern is not have no distortions or anything. Okay, okay. So that's lecture conversion. Okay, and then see how did all the pattern pieces. Okay, so it tells you the detailed warning. For example, this yellow piece was renamed to. Okay, I'm not sure why, but so you can check piece by piece or the general conversion information. So this, I'm not sure what that is, but you don't see that often. As long as you don't see errors, so this is, I know there is some sort of error somewhere, but as long as you don't see errors, you should be okay. There will be a lot of warnings because of the, between different programs, let's say notch types not really properly converted, or corner types. Remember, we learned a lot of different corner types, right? From the squared corner or mirrored or mitered. Those things often, when you convert, you lose them. It goes back to original shape. That is commonly happen. So that is so that's why if your factory, if you're dealing with the non-Gerber users, okay, so I would probably change the pattern, not using those like features, especially like square corner, but that square corner, mitered corner, those are the often when it's converted, it give problems. Okay, but then you need to find out. So if you're working with overseas factories, you need to closely work with them, and then see how the pattern is converted. Okay, so that's, I think that's I would do. I was when I was pattern maker, I was working with factories in China, which I never visited. So, but I know they're using my pattern. So and when they say the problem, I asked them to just screenshot the pattern, and then realize certain part is not properly converted. So if you're working with overseas, I think good communication is the key. Okay, so all right. So that's Electra conversion. So Electra has its own the category here. You can select Electra design for the if you have Electra patterns. Okay. All right. So then let's talk about non-Gerber, but not other than Electra. Okay. You're going to send your pattern, okay, to overseas, but you don't know what type of computer pattern making software they're using. Okay, but their factory, their manufacturers, you know that they use computer pattern making software. So in that case, you can use something called DXF file. Okay, so again, let me start from the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to use airline skirt as an example. Okay, so I have this airline skirt. I'm going to convert for non-Gerber user. Okay, So again, you will go to Process and Data Conversion Utility, okay, and make sure you select Export from Accumark. Okay, you select Export from Accumark. Okay. So then you select File Type. So file type, I will try first this ASTM. Okay, ASTM. Okay, and then once you select that, you select the where the pattern is, storage area, okay, and then pattern piece name, which is a model. Oh yes, so I forgot. This ASTM, you can only export model. You can't export loose pieces. Okay, that's very important. I know often students try to export loose pieces, but you can't do that. It has only model you can export. Okay, that's the condition. So when you click, okay, you don't you need to find the model, which is what was that? TED. Let's see. I just enter A squared. A squared. Don't I? We have quite a few, right? TED. Oh, I see. I'm in the wrong folder. Oops, sorry. Not that. No wonder. I need to this one. Okay. And then where is this? Okay, airline skirt. Open. And where do you want it to save? I will save in the screen. Sorry, desktop, or maybe I will just save in document folder. Okay, I save in document folder, local document folder. Okay, so now I fill in each box, file type, storage area, and then pattern name, model name. Okay, now I will process this. Okay, process. So it takes few seconds. So you see there's no error, which is good. And when you click and click, so you have, these are the warnings. You can say contains blah, 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 so which is insignificant. Okay. The yellow warnings are usually okay. Red, you need to really take a look at. When you see the red, yes. But yellow, probably it's not that, you don't need to be concerned. Okay. So then where did it go, the converted pattern? It's in document folder, right? I saved in document folder, which I did. Okay, so this is the one. See, it comes with the DXF file you can see, and also rule table comes with the rule table too. Okay, so these two you attach to the email and then send it to them. Okay, so that's exporting. So you can export any patterns, but it has to be in a model. So if you have loose pieces, you just have to create perform a model just for that, so that you can export. Okay. Yes, that's called ASTM DXF conversion. Okay. If ASTM doesn't work, you will try WMA, AAMA, WMA, DXF file. So you have two, so you try both of them. Then if factory say, oh, I can't open the file, or blah, 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 then the last result would be standard DXF. Okay, so which is not really a good option if you try to use pattern making software, because this becomes really bare minimum pattern, data, meaning it only export the shape of the pattern pieces. It loses seam allowance. I mean, the fact that it doesn't react as a seam allowance. You just see only lines. Okay, so it looks like a same pattern, but you can't modify. You can't really add notches, all kinds of. So you want to avoid that. Okay, but that will be the last result if any of this don't work. Okay, Okay, so so let's talk about the DXF, a standard DXF. So that which is the third option. So standard DXF is not only for Gerber users, it's also you can open pattern. Once you convert it, you can open using Illustrator or AutoCAD, the other programs. Okay, so it becomes very, very neutral pattern. And what you can do with this, that you know, those who don't have Gerber plotter, you know, Gerber plotter is a you know, expensive, right? It's a specialized plotter, and also it only prints from Gerber Accumark Explorer. You can't plot. Actually, you can, but it's not really you know, ideal. But if it's a pen, the upright plotter, you know, it has to be a DX vector-based the pattern. So it's only works for Gerber program. So, but when you convert the pattern into standard DXF, you can plot at what do you call that? The King course doesn't exist. What do you call this place? The Staples or you know, the places that have the big plotter. I mean, they charge you a lot, but it is possible to print at the station, at the stores like that. Yeah, so it become, because it's a standard DXF, can be read in many different software. Okay. All right, so let's do how can you convert the airline skirt again? Okay, so I'm going to use that airline skirt again as an example. Okay, so I'm going to export. Okay, so this time, unlike ASTM DXF, okay, standard DXF, you can't export model. Okay, it only works with loose pieces. Okay, and piece by piece. Okay, so that's a little inconvenient, right? Because if you have like 40 pieces of pattern, then you have to do all one by one. You have to export. Okay, so let's start with here. File type. I select standard DXF. Okay. And storage area is the same here. I use my own storage area. Okay. Then this is the tricky part. So I want you to pay attention to this. So when you click this, okay, you don't find the pattern pieces because as a default, it shows only marker files. Okay. So you need to change this to piece. Okay. Then you see all the pieces. Now you have so many pieces. So I will just enter a skirt star asterisk a skirt and asterisk. Okay. And you can only retrieve the pieces with a skirt. So here these are the I have front, I have draft, front, back, and so I will export as a standard DXF front, back, and waistband. Okay, I select 3 pieces, say open, then it will populate it. As you can see, each piece has each row. Okay, so you have 3 pieces here, 3 rows. Okay, and then we'll be okay. Destination. Let me get back. Do it again. Okay. Okay, so let me change this one here. Save, and I'm going to save this in download. Okay, and again here select change to piece, and I will only retrieve a skirt, and I'm going to export front, back, and not that one, back, front, and a waistband. Open. Okay. Now I will process all. Okay, converting. All right. So, oh, I like that. Green is meaning no warning. Everything is no warning. So, which is good, very good. All right. So this is successful. So let's see in the download file. Do I see? Okay. Download. Sorry. Download. So you can see here, piece by piece, right? Waistband, front, back. So it will only convert piece by piece. I have these 3 pieces. Now you can attach to your email, or you can save in a regular folder, okay? And then use it for whatever the purpose you want to use for. Okay. So once it's converted to standard DXF, what you can do is actually you can open the file using Illustrator. Okay. So because it's no longer this Gerber pattern, so let's see how it looks in Accumark, in Adobe Illustrator. So I will just highlight, right click, okay, and open with. See, you have now option with Adobe Illustrator. So open. It takes a little bit time. Right, it takes a little, so be patient. Slower than usual. Okay. Now, when you open using Adobe Illustrator, there are a few more steps to take. So just be mindful. Okay, it just doesn't open. You need to set up the environment so that you can get accurate pattern. Okay, so there's a window comes up. There you go. So here, you really want to make sure, don't ignore this, don't just click OK. It has to be original size, okay? And then here you want to select inch and the unit 1, okay? So this is the condition. You wanted to select scale 1, original size, scale 1, unit 1, inches, okay? Not because its default is the point usually, okay? So make sure, or pixel, I guess pixel is probably the default. So you want to change into inches and the unit is 1, okay? Scale unit 1. So then click original scale, okay? Now you can say okay. So say okay. And it's converted. Okay, so control 0 to see. So because pattern was graded, so you will converted all the nest. So you can see that the pattern successfully exported. Okay. Good thing about this. So if you want to just export a base size, you want to remove the grading. Okay, because if you don't, this is what happens. Okay. So a good thing about this is that it reacts. So you can, let's say you can change this to what was that? Classic mode. Do you know how to change the classic mode? I forgot. Maybe window. Yes, window, probably window. Essential classic. There. Now you got it. Okay. So when you do that, you can, for example, change the line weight, right? And you can delete the line. you can, you know, you can't really add a notch, but this is, you know, for, if you want to use this for tech pack, you know, so that is, you know, probably useful, right? And you can maybe you can fill in the color and all. So you can, it just becomes really like a neutral format, and you can, you know, it's easy to use for Illustrator, because that's, so it's a relatively easy conversion, and this is the actual size. Okay, so if you have mean to plot using HP printer, you know, something like that, you can actually print. Okay, all right, so that's the standard DXF. So this is great. So if you don't want that, what you can do is, let's say, oh yes, this is what you can do also. I think flares, did we grade? Yoke skirt, for example, right? I think gore skirt, these are not graded, I guess. So let me see the flare skirt. The yoke skirt, let's do yoke skirt. Open with pattern designs. Okay. Yeah. So this one, we did that. This is the yoke skirt. Okay. You know, this is, it is graded. How can you find out whether this is graded or not? Okay. And is you grade all sizes, or Control G. Okay. Control G and then click the piece, and you know it's graded, right? Okay. Yes. Have a question? No. Okay. So if you don't want the grading, how you can remove the grading is you right-click, edit point info. Okay. Just like, remember, you added a gray rule using this edit point. So use the same edit point, but this time you select all pattern pieces, highlight all points, and the gray rule, okay, you enter -1. Right. Okay, didn't I select that? Edit point info. Let me select that and -1. It doesn't go. Try again. Edit point info, select entire piece, -1. Okay. I'm not sure why it doesn't go away. Let me see. Grade, the view, gray rule. See, it doesn't. Oh, I know. Maybe I need to just save. Well, that sometimes happen. Okay, so it doesn't go away. Okay, save, and then it doesn't show. So Control G, select all. Oh, is it graded? Huh? I don't understand. Maybe this one here. It doesn't go away. Let's see that one. Control G. Oh, I guess it now it's gone. All right. So then, if now I don't have graded nest, okay, so it has no grading. So if you wanted to export as standard DXF so that you can open Illustrator, you can actually export not only from, like here, we used this Gerber data conversion utility, right? In the Accumark Explorer, process data conversion utility to convert into standard DXF. Now, if you happen to be in the Accumark PDS and you just wanted to export like this piece, okay, or a few pieces, okay, you can do it directly from here. Okay, so how you do that? You will go to File and Export. You see, okay, File, Export. Then you click the piece, and this one, see, it's standard DXF, and I'm going to save that in download. Okay, then I will say save. Modify grid. Yes. Okay, it's fine. Okay. So then when you're done this report, see, there's nothing, no warning, so it's good. Okay. So if I check my download folder, see I have here, I just did, which is waistband. Okay. So when I open, was it a waistband? I selected waistband. Okay. Well, let me try again. Cancel. File. Cancel. Come on. So file, export. I would do back this time, back skirt. Okay, back. Save. Yes. Okay, again, there's no warning. Successful. And if you go to yeah, this is the one I just exported, right? Yoke skirt back. So I can right click, open with Adobe Illustrator. So again, don't just say OK, click OK. Select original, scale 1, unit 1 in inches. Okay, so then say OK. OK. Now I have this is without gradiness. So you have also it will export annotations, but again, scale is wrong. So if you were to export, I think annotation is not really helpful. So you can delete annotation before you export. Otherwise, this will happen. Okay, I'm not sure if you can change this one. Estimated Pro. I guess you can. Okay, well that's good. Actually, it's interact with the programs, which is good. Then I can. Okay, so then you can see again. You can change the line element. You can change it to thicker line, or you can change it to like a dashed line. See. Like that, so you can change. So you really it becomes just a line. You can use line tool and then change that weight, and also change the line into dashed interrupted lines. Okay. Okay. So this when I used to work for the company, the designers often requested the DXF pattern because they want to place the fabric motif, right? Most company has fabric R&D, right? Research and development. So they have digital file of the fabric from the vendors or the original print if you create. So then you can place that the motif that you designed, and then see how it works with that style you chose. Okay, you can see, okay, this motif a little too big for this style, or you can scale down the motif, the print of the fabric. Okay, and then maybe change the placement. So this, you can do a lot of things with this one. So for this, so DXF pattern for designers are very useful for that, mostly for the placement. And if it's denim pattern, you say front here, this part is a hole here, distressed or destroyed. So you can just add a Photoshop or just a little bit image, just superimposed on, let's say, knee. There's on the knee area, right knee, you have hole destroyed, or you have laser, blah blah blah. So you can do a lot of things with this Adobe Illustrator. So for that purpose, because pattern is actual size, and you can add check the pattern motif or the distress. If you do denim, that's also useful, right? You can do placement like embroidery placement where you want to be holes are, or any like design details you can actually mark on the pattern. Okay.